Today we're making the Tennessee Twilight, a riff on a whiskey sour that's poolside refreshing.
Whiskey Collinsy.
Yeah.
Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derrick Schommer. That is my secondary host. Not to be confused with somebody that's secondary, but a first host, Ian Anders.
I'm kind of secondary. Today we're making the Tennessee Twilight, a recipe submitted by Lane, a 2+ year viewer.
Yep.
And produced today by Elliot McCreener. I don't know how to pronounce that. The recipe is 2 ounces of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, ½ ounce of simple syrup, 2 ounces of 1.5 ounces of simple syrup, 2 ounces of lemon juice, a dash of Angostura bitters. We're going to shake it, strain it into this oversized coupe glass. We're going to top it with a bit of club soda.
Yep.
And I'll do that.
The topping is always fun because there is no measure. So if you're creating a recipe like Lane, try to, after you're done topping it, make it a couple times, measure the topping as you're doing it to see what it comes out to, and then just put that in there. That's what I do. Like, I know what topping is for a glass I want to use. But then once I've done that, when I top it, before I do, I put it into like a 1 ounce jigger, and I keep doing it until it gets to where I want it to be.
Right.
And I keep count of how many times I've done that, and then that becomes a number. That way, if I decide to put it in a different glass, because I bet you Lane didn't put it in an oversized coupe, then everything will work out hunky-dory awesomeness. This is not still College Week, Solomon, but one of the things that people have requested was the ability to have shows that kind of tackle different types of audiences. So my theory is this: we're going to do, in our new schedule, a Tuesday and a Thursday, and sometimes a Wednesday if needed, cocktail. I think that having a Tuesday one that's simpler to build, and a Wednesday and a Thursday one that's more complicated, it fits both types of audiences. And when I say simpler, I don't mean you don't muddle stuff. I mean the ingredients are easier to get.
Right.
That's the theory. Sugar, water, grocery store bitters. These are Angostura bitters. You can use whatever bitters you can get your little hands on. And if you can't find this product from Lynchburg called Jack Daniel's Old No. 7, then use your favorite bourbon. You don't have to use Jack Daniel's. Lane's favorite product was Jack Daniel's. We had to come up with a name because it turns out Tales of Cocktail invented the cocktail by his original name, the Southern Gentleman, as did Liquor.com or some other big bar. So we came up with a better name so it wasn't confusing that we weren't making the drink that was nothing like this.
I'm going to leave it there at the top.
Oh, yes! Because there's still actually a lot of surface area there you can top with. Jennifer, you going to take a photo for this one? It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It kind of looks like a whiskey sour. It has
That's all the characteristics
of a whiskey sour.
With some effervescence.
With the water, which really doesn't make it a whiskey sour. Excuse me, a whiskey sour makes it something different. Bitters, I would like them in a whiskey sour, but they're not present in a whiskey sour.
Not by definition. Doesn't mean you can't throw them in.
Yeah.
We've had whiskey sours with chocolate bitters. We've had whiskey sours with cherry bitters. We've had whiskey sours with all sorts of bitters.
And I don't think I've ever found one I didn't like.
I think it was a Boston sour.
I don't think there's a whiskey sour that I haven't liked.
I'll make you one.
That he doesn't like?
Oh, I forgot this. There's a garnish.
Well, your picture doesn't have a garnish.
The picture doesn't have a garnish.
Would you like another picture?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
You want me to take
Executive ruling.
one? You want me to take one? I'll take one.
That's fine. It says lemon if you'd like. We don't have to. Questions of the day.
Ooh, that's refreshing.
It's very good.
It's a very refreshing whiskey sour.
What do you think
I'm refreshed.
of? Are you refreshed? Are you guys cool with the fact that I put the recipe at the beginning with a high resolution graphic now, and I also posted this on Facebook, versus putting them at the end? Because YouTube's changing how they're doing the end card stuff. So eventually, once I get the code on my channel, I'll be able to say, hey, I recommend you. I'm going to make a little screen. This is, I recommend you check out our ebook. Go to Patreon and check out this video up here. And the video could be dynamic based on their preferences on how they view. So I'm going to have it like automatic. So the next video that they'll see will be whatever YouTube thinks that they want to see.
Cool.
And until that, I figure I move the recipe because I'm going to have to do it eventually.
That's a tasty drink.
You know what? I have a better respect for Jack Daniel's now than I did, say, it's a long time.
5 minutes ago?
No,
15 years? Okay.
Well, I used to have a really hard time with Jack Daniel's in general because I had a bad experience with Seagram 7. I couldn't touch anything in the whiskey category for a long time.
Sure, I did that with Jim Beam.
Right. Yes. But I came back around, starting from Scotch and coming back into bourbon, and then coming down to Jack Daniel's because even a drop of it used to make me nauseous.
It's a funny path you take with your
gotta,
alcohol appreciation.
Sometimes you gotta.
It's kind of like a college career. You never know what you're gonna end up.
But
you know what you want to go in as. You don't know what you're gonna come out as.
You end up coming out as like you went in as a programmer, come out with, as a bisexual doctor, and you're like, what the heck just happened?
I went in as a a mechanical drafting design major, swapped over to occupational health and safety, and exited with a computer science degree.
There. I went as a computer programmer and came out as a computer programmer.
You, your friend, are a rarity.
I know! But the Jack Daniels product is, and as Solomon said, oh, we're on college week because we use JD. It's a, I'm not going to say bottom shelf because that's not true.
Nope.
It's a it's a well whiskey, usually meaning it's going to be the one that they pour out first if you don't ask for anything else. But I've grown an appreciation for the middle tier. It's the same price really as a Maker's Mark at this point.
Yep.
And I like the fact that I can catch
put the
stuff.
cap back on that.
Well, that's the least of it. Almost fell on the ground, bounced. In glass, don't bounce so well.
No.
It's got some nice oaky flavors.
It does.
It's not as sour. No, that's not true. What is different?
The bitters. It's got some good sour in there. The sour-sweet balance is good.
But it's easier to drink than a whiskey sour?
It's probably a little more sour and sweet than it is strong. So your standard balance of 2 strong, 1 sour, 1 sweet. Yep. It's not here because you got 2 strong, 2 sour, 1.5 sweet.
It is a little bit sour.
But
the water changes
The water changes it up.
It
weakens it.
It lightens it up.
It's almost a really weak cocktail because of the water.
But
because of the extra sugar and the extra
But the aggressiveness of the whiskey's oak properties play. There's no way you would miss that for a whiskey as a non-whiskey cocktail. It's like a Tom Collins with whiskey. It's
really muted though. That's the thing. Because of the water, a
little dry. But
you don't get
whiskey. You get oak.
Yeah, the whiskey flavor is very muted in this.
Yeah, it's like tasty. Oaky vanilla flavors. It's a great if you think a whiskey sour is a little aggressive.
That's a great poolside whiskey cocktail.
Yeah, you lighten it up. You make it easier to drink. You can drink more of them. You can appreciate them. The sourness makes me want to keep going back. Which
sour does that.
I like sour. Oh, here's our Cobra High Fives coming up right now. Oh, there you go. So you have your question of the day. Thanks, David, for the tip. Our tips now, you'll be able to tip to us in the middle of any episode you want because that got fixed. You should like, you should share, and you should subscribe to the show. You should also go to ostdrinks.com where you can get martini. Coupe glasses like this. It's glass coupe.
And you can get your simple syrups, your bitters.
You can get your simple syrups.
You can?
You can. Both these.
Yeah.
And that.
And these.
Look at you can get everything there but the
everything
whiskey.
but the Jack.
And you can get a lemon squeeze.
Yeah.
And I'd also love to comment about how you think the show's format length is going and if you're still interested, entertained, and having a good time.
Are you not entertained?
Be entertained! We're done! We're teaching you how to drink. It's gonna go bad and you're gonna hate this tequila? No, but that tells me and you at home, if you have an older bottle of tequila and you have a newer bottle of tequila and you're trying to figure out which one's better and that one's 2.5 years old,